This partnership is a shining example of institution uniting in service of nature. Please show your applause, appreciations.
Thank you, sir.
The leopard stays with its skill, feasting in the solitude of its kingdom. But nothing lasts forever. On the fifth day, it is time to move on. This is life in the high Himalayas. Brutal, unforgiving, and yet perfectly in balance. These mountains do not belong to wildlife alone. People too have made their home here. And for centuries, they have shared this land with the creatures around them. In Kargil, nature and humanity are intertwined. Conservationists and local communities are working together, finding new ways to protect this fragile balance. But the challenges are greater than ever before. The future of Kargil's wilderness depends on those who call it home. The world is changing, and Kargil is changing with it. Glaciers such as the Drangdrum and the mighty Numkum, frozen giants, sculpted over millennia, sprang freely, now echoes with emptiness. In just a few short decades, landscapes that took millennia to form are disappearing. For generations, the people of these mountains have lived in harmony with nature. But now, that balance is unraveling. The action we take now determines what the next chapter will be. For the snow leopards, for the rivers, for the people who call this place home. This is Kargil, a place of wonder, a place of resilience, a place worth protecting for generations to come.
And the Department of Forest, Ecology, Environment and Wildlife converge to safeguard the ecology and wildlife in Ladakh, known for its unique flora and fauna. Our collective endeavor is to conserve and nurture this ecosystem and find a balance between ecology conservation and the necessary development for the well-being of people of Ladakh. Reach and dedication to support the Department of Ecology in conservation efforts. We will work in concert with the wildlife and animal husbandry departments to control the population of free-ranging feral dogs, a significant threat to the survival of various endangered species like the snow leopard and the black-necked crane, to name a few, which are unique to Ladakh. I appreciate the work done by the Animal Husbandry Department, supported by various NGOs, the BNHS to quote one, duly supported by all military units in Ladakh. If we continue in this focused manner, I feel assured that we will be able to control the population of feral dogs in a humane way. Further, I'm happy to note that the effective waste management techniques being implemented by various army units in collaboration with the Leh Sub-Area Headquarters would yield results. No efforts will be spared to incorporate sustainable waste management techniques using latest technology. These two major initiatives, that is effective waste management and sterilization of feral dogs together, will make a significant impact in controlling their population, thereby contributing to the conservation of wildlife.
Today is marked by the historic occasion of signing the MOU between the Indian Army and the UT administration, taking the course of conservation of highland ecosystems in the UT state, in the UT of Ladakh. This is indeed very crucial to the overall landscape level management, as we see that much of the landscape in the state, the UT, is taken care of by the communities and also protected by the Indian Army. And same is the case with the requirement of fostering our management actions to the field. Now, without Army's collaboration, reaching out to the border areas, protecting the wetlands there, the habitats there, it's all like has been kind of a bit challenged with the procedures and practical difficulties. But because of the great initiative between the administration and the Army, now we have that institutional arrangement which is going to help us further to address these challenges. So that way, today is quite historic. More than this, what is more illuminating for the day is the discovery of a new bird species in UT. As we know, we have been doing the annual waterbird census every year, and we have been also gaining our gains in terms of biodiversity conservation, because year after year, the figures have been encouraging. That shows that our ecosystems, our landscape, our people, communities have been so resilient in protecting the biodiversity and resources of the UT. And the presence of the very identification of the Lapland Longspur this year in the annual wetland waterbird census is a clear indication that our landscape has further gained the resilience, especially in the context of ongoing climate change. The very presence of it indicates that a bird which is quite a resident of the Nordic landscape has come to our landscape, which is like an indication of some changes happening, maybe in the positive direction, or the species is finding new niches in this landscape. So that's an encouraging aspect. At the same time, also gives as a point for thinking around it, why it is here an Arctic species that reflects perhaps some connections with the ongoing climate change happening across the world. And our landscape is also not free from climate change, and it has been also impacted by climate change in varying dimensions. We have seen evidences of eroding glaciers and the potential looming challenge of water scarcity maybe later in the times to come. But what is fortunate is that as per records, as per scientific evidence, the rate of recession of glaciers in our UT, in Himalayan landscape, the trans-Himalayan landscapes, has not been that fast as happening in other parts of the world. This is a point of sight for us, and a relief for us. At the same time, is an opportunity or rather window for us to prepare our system to respond to this requirement of resilience. And this same landscape is also a reflection of the historic.
Extend my warm greetings on the World Wildlife Day. इसके साथ ही आप सबको होली की बहुत बधाई। कल होली का दिन है और ये चांस की बात है कि दोनों दिन एक साथ आए। The documentary which we just saw and the exhibition outside, I think it points to one thing. It points to the fact that places like Ladakh are actually the last refuge of wildlife. As human habitations expand, as development takes place, as the human aspiration and ambition grows, we tend to expand into areas where actually we have no business being. But that being said, we need to strike a balance between the demands of development and the need for conservation. And I think Ladakh is unique in one respect, that in other parts we have to educate people about conservation, but in Ladakh, the relationship with nature and with wildlife is almost sacred. So it's not as if we have to educate communities on the need for conservation. But now new challenges are emerging, like General Bhala was mentioning about the feral dogs and what is it that we do with them. There is also the challenge of unregulated tourism. Tourists from all over come not just to see the wildlife, but generally they come to the place and they end up feeding all kinds of things to wildlife. So we need to create a framework in which is harmonious, and we need partnerships for that. So, and there are a lot of good civil society organizations who are passionately working in the space of wildlife. And I think we need to harness their energy. And of course, the WWF has been working not just in India but globally. And we intend to strike a partnership with them as well, just like today we have entered into an MOU with the Indian Army. And what we have proposed is that by the end of the year, we will have an international wildlife conference in Ladakh and bring together all stakeholders, whether they are conservationists, whether they are academics, whether they are wildlife operators, photographers, all kinds of enthusiasts who are into this space. We are also going to create village level communities for conservation in the protected areas and in other areas to involve the local communities in conservation. There have been classic examples of how communities have been involved in conservation. At the same time, we have been able to harness tourism potential which is hidden in this wildlife space. For example, in Namibia, in Kenya, in other places in South America, it's a huge money spinner also. So it's not as if we are exploiting wildlife, but we are trying to bring this beauty of nature closer to the people as well, and to show them the importance of conservation.
Birds, and we can see the facial pattern is quite different. It has a very distinct head shape, very conical and pointed bill, with dark eye stripe and black feathers on crown, and it has a rufous nape, which means it has a red colored nape on the back side of the neck, and it has a very heavily streaked back, and it also has rufous we call it red, on the wings, specifically on the greater coverts and the tertials, and it has a blackish throat and straight flanks, and on below you can see the toe. It has a very long claw on its hand though, from that's where it got named, the long spur. And if you see the location of where we found the bird, and right now we can see the aerial view of the Hanle wetlands. In the middle we can see the Indian Astronomical Observatory, and just nearby it we can see the Khaldo hamlet. So just around 250 meters east of Khaldo hamlet we had located the bird and we had photographed the bird.
It also carries the name long spur because of the unusually long pointed hind claw on each foot, a specialized adaptation that helps the bird maintain stability on uneven windswept ground.
Let me kick off. So we all know why the Himalayas are so important and precious. Many people have talked about it. For a region which is relatively geographically not that huge, it has a very, very significant impact and a very significant kind of importance in a way, both in terms of sustaining life, look at the number of rivers, the glaciers, and also in terms of the kind of biodiversity it harbors. There's a quote that I like using, which is by the ex-director of the Zoological Survey of India, which I think encapsulates this very well, which basically says that there is no other geographical region in India, in the country, like the Himalayas, which has such a profound influence on the rest of the country. which is why it is so important that we cherish and protect this region.